Welcome to Ancestral Wisdom, where the wisdom of the past guides our future. Today I'm going to talk to you about allergies and how you can completely cure your own allergies. Allergies can be debilitating. The people who don't have allergies don't realize just how bad they are. It's not just a little bit of sneezing or an itchy nose or watery eyes. They can put you into a state in which you cannot live. You cannot get the most out of the day, and they can even put you in the hospital. I had terrible allergies for quite a long time, to such an extent that every spring I would end up in the emergency room at least once or twice. With, of course, would start with my nose and my eyes and maybe a bit of an itchy throat, and then it would go from there into my chest, and I wouldn't be able to breathe. And sometimes it would get a bit scary. So the first thing that I did over the course of several years, I tried many different things, and everything worked to an extent. But by the time I got to the end and I was doing all of those things at the same time, my allergies were basically gone. I'm going to start with what works, what worked mildly for me, and then the very last tip is the most important. It's more important than all of the other ones put together. So first, green tea. Not only does green tea contain antioxidants, but it contains natural quercetin, and we're going to talk about quercetin in a little while, which is an antihistamine and anti-inflammatory, very powerful, both. And it is, and not only does it have those chemicals, but it also has a moderate amount of caffeine. And caffeine also can help relieve allergy symptoms by itself. So caffeine, L-theanine, antioxidants, including quercetin, and very, very powerful. Drink 2 to 3 cups of green or white tea a day. Sometimes I vary that, and I'll have oolong tea or black tea here or there during allergy season, but I usually try to keep it to green tea or white tea because it seems as if they contain more of the compounds that are associated with allergy relief. So, number two, different types of vitamins. And I'll lump all these, I guess, in one. So, vitamin D. During allergy season, I make sure to, if I'm not outside getting sun, I take a little bit of vitamin D, but I try to get outside and get sun as much as possible. And so that leads me to, so staying away from, veering away from vitamins for just a moment, that leads me to another very important strategy, which is not to shy away from the thing that you're allergic to. When I first started getting really bad allergies, my first reaction was, all right, I go during the terrible allergy season, during really bad pollen, a really bad pollen day, I'd go from the house to the car, I'd wash my hands, I'd wash my face, I'd go from the car to the job, I'd close all the windows, I would try to stay away from it as much as I possibly could. Doing the exact opposite has actually helped me tremendously. The spring pollen that I'm allergic to the most, I believe, is oak. And so I get out early in the spring before the oak blooms, when you have things like maple and juniper, and I get out in those when the pollen is high, with juniper and those other types of early spring trees, and expose myself to tree pollen as much as I can. That way, when the oak comes, my body already has learned how to cope with that type of allergic response. And even when the oak blooms, go out as much as you can, as long as you are not in the middle of a terrible asthma attack, or your allergies haven't gotten to the breaking point. Go out and become exposed and be exposed to the allergen, and it will help you tremendously. Part of that is going out and getting sun and sunbathing as much as you can and getting that natural vitamin D. But if you're unable to do that for whatever reason, still get outside and take supplemental vitamin D. What else? Fish oil. It's worth a mention. I'm not sure exactly how much it contributes to allergy relief, but it seems to be a natural anti-inflammatory, um, since it balances the omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids in your diet, and so it leads towards an anti-inflammatory response. It, so it seems. I'm not sure exactly how much of an effect it's had on me, but it seems to be a good idea to include that in your list of vitamins to get. That leads me to a few vitamins that are extremely important and that I have noticed a huge benefit from taking. So first, let's see if we can put that on there. Quercetin complex. I use this one by Solgar, but quercetin complex with ester C, and I take the recommended dose, which is 2 capsules twice a day. It has each serving size, which is 2 capsules, has 500 milligrams of quercetin. It also has a tiny bit of bromelain, some citrus biflavonoids, rose hips, acerola, rutin, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, and a decent amount of vitamin C and calcium. So this, above anything else that I've taken in supplement form, has had the effect of preventing the allergies from settling in my chest and causing lung inflammation. So it's done a really great job of preventing asthma, allergy-associated asthma. So quercetin complex. In addition to quercetin complex, which has a tiny bit of bromelain, a little bit of extra bromelain doesn't hurt, and there are so many different strengths of bromelain that it's difficult to know what to get. But after doing a bit of research, I settled on this, which is 500 milligrams of quite potent bromelain, and I take one in the morning before I eat, and with the quercetin complex, sometimes two if I'm really congested, and I find that it helps with nasal congestion quite a bit. All right, so let me go down my list. Vitamin D, fish oil, bromelain, quercetin, green tea, 2 to 3 cups a day, sun, exposure to pollen. And that leaves me at the last technique, the last tip that I have for you for allergy relief. If I had to rate these on a scale, I would say that vitamin D and fish oil would be at the low end of the scale. I would say exposure to the pollen and quercetin, green tea, and bromelain would be in the middle. And I would say that this last one would be the most important out of all of them. I made a video about how to cure your own migraines, and the same technique is used for allergy relief, and that's the Wim Hof Method. Nothing on this list has had as powerful effect, an anti-inflammatory effect, an anti-allergy effect, as doing the Wim Hof Method. It's I tell so many people about how powerful the Wim Hof Method is for allergy relief and for migraine relief, as the previous video indicated. And hardly anyone, if I had to say, maybe if I tell 20 people, maybe 1 out of 20 will do it, and the rest will continue to suffer with whatever ailment is plaguing them. But if you can get past the hesitation, I guarantee it's more powerful than anything. You could easily research the Wim Hof Method and find out how to do it. You can, I believe, download the app for free and have Wim lead you through the breathing technique. And so it's the breathing technique, cold exposure through cold showers, mostly for me, and it's just mindfulness and meditation. And if you do it the way that it's set out, it has an extremely powerful anti-inflammatory response, and it will give you relief, a lot of relief, very quickly. I usually do I've been varying how I do it and when I do it for spring allergies, but basically when I feel like I make sure to do the method every day during spring allergy season, unless I'm coming down with a cold. And if I feel if I've already done the cold exposure on a certain day, I try to just use the breathing technique after that. Um, but I do the cold exposure once, and then I do the breathing technique at least once or twice, sometimes 3 times if I'm really suffering. And it works, and it helps. Let me know in the comment section below if it helps for you. Don't just do one of these. Don't just do them for a week straight, especially things like the quercetin. It takes time to build up and really have an effect. And if you start before allergy season gets really bad, it will be much better than if you start in the middle. So get a head start on allergy season. Check with your doctor, of course, when you're taking any supplement that a strange person on YouTube is recommending for you, because I don't know your own individual health situation and how you'll react to supplements. So always check with a doctor before you start any program that someone who does not have a degree is giving to you on YouTube. But I will say that it worked for me. It's been 2 years without having to go to the hospital. And last year, during a bad allergy season, had a little bit of the sniffles. My eyes were itchy for a day. One night I had maybe a touch of chest tightness, and I went to bed, woke up, it was gone. So it's given me the gift. This set of tips that I'm giving to you has given me the gift of time. Months where I'm not miserable. And if you can count up all of the days that you are miserable and suffering with allergies over the course of your entire life, then you can just get all of those days back in the blink of an eye. It's more valuable than gold. So I hope it works for you. If it does work for you, please let me know in the comments section below. I'd love to hear your success stories. Or if it doesn't work for you, I'd love to hear about that as well. And if you have any other allergy tips, any other natural, safe allergy tips for people, please leave that in the comments section below as well. Because the more we can do, the better. Deus risas, ansus raido kenas, gebo anjo hagalas, naudis isaiera, uas petro elgas, soilotiva, bercano evo mana, lagus invas degas, o